Well, hello, and we're on a bit of a roll now with Isaiah. This is the second one on the trot. So we're going to continue in chapter 51. We're going to look at verses 9 to 16. So let's go on to them. Let's first of all, God has been speaking to the people. I think Isaiah, message that Isaiah had to give to them. And then verses 9 to 11 is Isaiah's response to this. It says, "Awake, awake, arm of the Lord. Clothe yourselves with strength. Awake as in days gone by, as in generations of old. Was it not you who cut Rahab to pieces, who pierced that monster through? Was it not you who dried up the sea, the waters of the great deep, who made a road in the depths of the sea so that the redeemed might cross over? Those the Lord has rescued will return. They will enter Zion with singing. Everlasting joy will crown their heads. Gladness and joy will overtake them, and sorrow and sighing will flee away." First of all, the mention of Rahab here. This is not the Rahab, not referring to the Rahab who helped the spies at Jericho. Indeed, she was a hero and is cited as a woman of faith in Hebrews chapter 11, I think. Now, Rahab here is a term used to refer to Egypt. So that this is all, verses 9 and 10, it's referring to God rescuing the people from Egypt and taking them through the Red Sea and destroying the Egyptian army in the process. So that's what that's talking about. And in verse 11, it says, "They will enter Zion with singing, the everlasting joy will crown their heads." Let's repeat what God says in chapter 35 of Isaiah. And this is the week that Captain Tom died, the war veteran who was 100 years old and raised millions for the NHS, and that sadly died this week. And there's been a quote of his saying, "Brighter days are ahead." In a sense, it's the same sort of thing, but obviously with much greater depth and much greater certainty. So Isaiah is calling on the Lord to arm himself with strength, and reminding God, though God doesn't really need reminding what he's done in the past, more of a matter of reminding himself. And in our lives, it is good. First of all, it's good to remind ourselves of what God has done in the Bible. And it's also good to remind ourselves of what he has done in our own lives. And this can help to build up faith within ourselves. And we then get God's response to this. Even I, am he who comforts you. Who are you that you fear mere mortals? Human beings who are but grass? That you forget the Lord your Maker, who stretches out the heavens and lays the foundations of the earth? That you live in constant terror every day because of the wrath of the oppressor who is bent on destruction? For where is the wrath of the oppressor? And God here is saying to them, look, you're looking at the oppressing forces, and you forget who I am. And we so often do the same. When we're really worried or fearful or anxious about something, this is what we're doing. We're looking at whatever that danger or threat is, whether it's coming through people or coming through events, and we're forgetting who God is. And God says, look, whatever's threatening you, they're just men. They're just human beings. They're mere mortals. In our day, when our governments seem to become increasingly ungodly and advocating or even enforcing ungodly things, we need to remember they're just men and women. That's all they are. God is the creator. He is our maker. We need to look at things in perspective. The cowering prisoners will soon be set free. They will not die in their dungeon, nor will they lack bread. For I am the Lord your God, who stirs up the sea so that its waves roar. The Lord Almighty is his name. I put my words in your mouth and covered you with the shadow of my hand. I who set the heavens in place, who lay the foundations of the earth, and who say to Zion, you are my people. First of all, there's a recognition here that the enemy does do stuff. The people were, it talks about people being in prison. And it says, you're not going to die there. You will be set free. We can go through all sorts of things in our lives, but there will come a time when God sets us free. It says, for I am the Lord your God who stirs up the sea so that its waves roar. It can look as though things are out of control, but they're not out of control. They're under God's control. It is God who stirs up the sea. Now, we can't understand often why God is doing things, why things are happening the way they are. But we can be confident that God understands, that God knows why. Does it mean we're going to like it? But God is in control and says, I have put my words in your mouth. Now, Isaiah was a prophet, of course. But God has put his word in our mouths. We've got the whole Bible. We've got the gospel. We've got the good news. We have the words of God. And God has put them in our mouths. They are words for speaking. And then it says, and covered you with the shadow of my hand. This very day, there may be all sorts of stuff going on in our lives. All sorts of events and circumstances surrounding us. Some of them may be very difficult, but the hand of the Lord is covering us. It is covering you today. It is covering me today. I, who set the heavens in place and laid the foundations of the earth. And again, God reminds us of this. And in the Psalms, David often praised God because he is the creator. We need to know who God is. And this creator God says of us, you are my people. Just dwell on that fact that God says to us, you are my people. Amen.